Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm sitting outside on this wonderful fall day. It's a little windy, so if you hear the wind, that's what it is. And it's just gorgeous out. So I thought I'd come out here and film a video. It's almost Halloween, so I thought I would share a fun little scary story. So I don't know if you guys are like me, but I totally believe in ghosts and spirits and haunted houses. And I grew up in a 120-year-old two-flat in the city, and it was extremely haunted. From the time that I was little, we always like heard and saw things that were creepy and, you know, not of the norm, and, you know, things that just didn't feel right. It's like the things that go bump in the night, so to speak. And the way that the house was, it was a really like long row house. It's a two-flat, so like the front room, then the dining room, the kitchen, bathroom, all that was in one long row. So my bedroom was in the kitchen, and this was my grandparents' house. My bedroom was in the kitchen, like next to the kitchen, and behind my bedroom there was a pantry, and we would store like canned goods and all sorts of stuff. So the first paranormal like instance that happened was when I was about 4 years old. I remember laying in the bed and hearing my name come from the kitchen. It was really late at night, and I think like my mom and dad were like working, and I was staying at my grandparents' house, and I just was spending the night there. I had my own bedroom at my grandparents' house, so I heard my name getting called, and I go in the kitchen and no one's there. So I hear it coming from the pantry. So I'm like, okay. So I walk into the pantry, and it's louder and louder and louder. And I start freaking out, and I start trying to scream, and nothing comes out. And I'm just shaking and shaking and shaking and shaking and shaking. And the next thing I know, my grandma comes in there and finds me. I'm just shaking in the corner on the floor. That was the first experience. I remember it so vividly because I remember just being 4 years old and like going into this pantry and just screaming. So my cousins have always said that this house is haunted, and a couple of like my aunts have said it, and like my mom has like felt it. There were things that would happen. I'd be in the front room, and you'd hear someone walk into the front room and hear the creaks of the floorboards, and then it would stop in the center of the room. My sister would say that she would see my grandparents' rocking chair rock back and forth. My cousins and I would be downstairs in the living room area, and we would just hear banging coming on from the basement. So another big paranormal thing that happened in this house that truly just set us off was my cousin slash godbrother. I call him my brother sometimes because he's my godbrother. So like all my cousins, we were of a huge family. So all my cousins, we were raised really close because our parents are extremely close, and we were always at our grandmother's house. So we like joke around like sibling wise. So I always sometimes will call him my brother because he's my godbrother. We were in the front bedroom of the house, which is right by the front door, and we were like laying in the room and just talking and catching up, and it was super late at night. Everyone was sleeping. And all of a sudden, we heard the front door open. And we were like, okay. Super creeped out. So we like get up, and we're like shaking, and we turn the light on, and we go out of the room and go to the front door and shut it, and we latch it, making sure that like it's closed. So like in this two-flat, like our front door latched, and then there was a hallway and like a big thick heavy main door. So we latch the door, and we go back in the room, and we're like super freaked out, and we're like laughing, and we're like, gosh, this house is so haunted and whatnot. And we hear the door unlatch and open. We were petrified. We then were in the room, and the room felt like smoke was coming in, and it smelled like cigarette smoke and musty beer, and it just felt so crazy. So we were super spooked. So then one night, my best friend who lived across the street and my godbrother and I decided to kind of do like a seance in the house. My best friend, who was obsessed with ghosts as well, wanted to like see what was going on in the pantry, because I had always told her about the story growing up you know, I've known her my entire life, so I've always told her the story about how scared I was of the pantry and whatnot. So she's like, let's just call it. Let's see if it's there. So there was nobody home, and upstairs was, my aunt lived upstairs, so my, like, cousins lived upstairs and stuff, so we were the only ones home downstairs. So it was me, my godbrother, and my best friend standing in the kitchen with a candle, and I'm, like, freaking out, because I don't like this stuff anyways, and I'm thinking, like, you guys can go home, I have to sleep here, like, I am gonna be scared. So they were calling it. They were like, show yourself, if you're there, show yourself, whatever. Well, the curtains, there were curtains for doors, and all of a sudden, the curtains come together, like hands, and it was like a little kid hands holding it, and we start freaking out, and my best friend starts saying, you know, Hail Mary, you know, the whole, like, Hail Mary prayer. We're freaking out. The candle goes out. We scream. We run to the front of the house. As we run to the front of the house, my cousin Jennifer is coming downstairs. She opens the door, turns on the light. She's like, why do you guys have it all dark in here? Turns on the light. 3 light bulbs bust. We were petrified. I was so scared. So the culmination of all of this is, after all of these freaky paranormal experiences that we started having in the house, we started investigating, you know, the house and what was there before and who had lived there before. There were numbers on the doors. My grandmother had mentioned something about it being like, you know, a boarding house or something. The previous owner from the 50s had died in a fire in my bedroom. And so we're, like, freaked out. We're like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe this is true. So my best friend convinced me to buy a Ouija board. And we bought a Ouija board, and a big group of my friends came over on a Friday night, and it was like, we pitch blacked the house and we put candles, and we were doing the Ouija board, and, like, of course, like, nothing happened, because it's a Ouija board and it's just a game. So we're like, oh my gosh, this is so dumb, so dumb, so dumb, so dumb. Well, 2 of my friends were really big into, like, witchcraft and all that stuff, so they were like, no, we've been reading, you have to say this, you have to do that. So we, like, all then started taking it serious. Once we started taking it serious, the flames on the candles started flickering so bad, and there was, like, this black, like, figure that was rising up in the shadow. So of course there's 2 guys, and then there's 3 girls, me and my 2 best friends, and then my best friend's boyfriend and my brother. So we're freaking out. So the 3 girls, we go running into the front room, and the 2 guys are, like, standing there in shock, and they're tough guys. So we're all freaked out, and we're standing in this dark front room looking down a long hall, and the only light is by this candle, and the candle is flickering and going crazy, and we are seeing these black shadows going everywhere, and out of the hallway by where my bedroom is, we see this tall, I'm getting chills talking about it. I'm shaking talking about this. We see this tall, black figure walking, and he walks and stops and it flickers. Walks and stops and flickers. To the same point. It's, like, repetitive. I'm freaking out. My best friend is screaming. She runs out of the front of the house. She runs across the street. My other best friend is, like, standing there in shock. The 2 guys are freaking out. And all I'm thinking is, great, guys, I gotta sleep here by myself. You guys are gonna run home. So I'm like, I'm spending the night at my best friend's house. So it was so scary. We're standing there. So my best friend runs out the door. So it's me and the 2 guys and my other friend, her name was Holly, my other friend, and all of a sudden the candle goes out in the dining room, no joke. So we're screaming, petrified, and then the kitchen light turns on. And I'm thinking, someone's home. Like, okay, they're playing a prank on us. Nobody was home. I was so petrified. Honest to God, like, it was so scary growing up in this house. There are so many more stories that I have from this house, but this was, like, the main one. Finally, years down the line, after I had went to college and kind of grew up and started my own life, and my grandmother had got married and moved on, and my aunt decided to sell the building. So the day that they had the final walkthrough, the realtor and my aunt went through the house, and when they went to the back bedroom, which was my bedroom, the entire ceiling was caved in. It's just creepy, like just 100% creepy. So we think that, like, because it's so old, that like there's so many like souls that are trapped there. There was a fire there at one point that burned the entire inside and killed the guy who owned it. Like, I know in my neighborhood they used to wake people in the front rooms. My uncle told me that they used to wake people in the front room, which was like the parlor room. It's just so crazy and so scary. So to me, like, I love paranormal stuff, but I get so freaked out with it. Anyways, I thought I would share this kind of creepy paranormal story with you guys since it's almost Halloween. And if you like this video, make sure to thumbs it up and hit that subscribe button. And as always, be bold, be beautiful, and make someone smile today. Bye, guys.